welcome to Uncaged. And I'm sorry this is late. I'm sorry. I've been very busy. But I hope you will enjoy this review. And I gotta say, this was a great show. Now mind you, this wasn't a pay-per-view show. Now Unbound, I think, is in April 21st. So that is their pay-per-view for this year. Probably before Slammiversary and next Bound for Glory. But seeing that this was done, I don't like theme impacts, but it was okay. It was a damn good show. Now, the first match I'm going to talk about was the weakest match. Now, it's not because the match quality was bad. I want to make this clear. It was not a bad match quality. It just didn't have the most strength to it. Because even though it had a connection to something, it really didn't mean a lot. And this is Ethan Page versus Willie Mack. Now, it was a good match. Willie is a damn good wrestler. For a guy that size, he knows how to work a match. He was the one who ran that match. In the end, Willie Mack won it. Now, at the end, right after Killer Kross did his own promo for his match that was at the end of the show, you saw Willie Mack going into one of the rooms and then the Chris brothers going after him, probably to kick his ass. Now, that leads me into what happened with Sami Callihan and Rich Swann. Now, here's the thing. I really wanted to see this a little more dramatic, but they really seem to want to just start the fight now. So once you see Sami come out saying, Richard, I want you to come out here because I want to give you one last chance. What I think could have happened, well, two things I think should have happened and could have happened. One, Sami attacking Richard, Rick, I really believe shouldn't have happened. He shouldn't have thrown the shirt at him. Rich shouldn't have thrown the shirt back at him, and then they had the fight. I think one or two things could have happened. One, you could have had the Chris brothers come out, try to beat up on Rick again. And Sami legitimately beating the crap out of the other two. Making them understand that Rich means more to him than those two. That, I think, would have been better. And that's what I think really should have happened. The second one was that Rich comes out like he did, and Sami does not throw the shirt at him, but Willie Mack, who does get jumped, like what happened with the Chris brothers, he comes out fighting both the Chris brothers. He wipes them out. He comes out, and he just gets pissed to hell out of him. Pretty much he'll come to the ring with a mic, and he says, I just had to beat the crap out of both the Chris brothers. Why are you going to this man again? You should be with me. And what should have happened? He shoves Sami again. And this is Willie Mack. And it's Rich that shoves him back and says, don't do this. Leave it. Leave it. And he doesn't. He shoves Rich aside and starts beating up on Sami. And then you see Rich basically whack his head off. Not because he turns heel, but because it is Willie who shoves him aside. And he gets angry at that. He's not for Sami still. He's not for Willie. He's for himself. And then you see this build-up going into Unbound, where you don't know where he's going. Will he go with Willie? Will he go with Sami? And he's still separate. That's one of the two ways it could have been done. You don't see Rick in the first scenario going for Sami, but you see Sami making it really clear to Rick, or Rich, I keep saying Rick and Rick, saying to him, you mean more to me than anyone. You are my family. And he made the Chris brothers understand he comes first. And that's Rick Swann. The other scenario is Rick Swann does not go for either one, but when Willie comes out, he pretty much whacks his head off because he got shoved back because he wanted to go after Sami. Couldn't stand it no more that neither one of them was listening to him. I think one of those two scenarios would have been better. That's just me. Now, let's go to the 4-on-4 elimination tag. And that is with AAA versus Impact, which made me very happy. Now, I didn't really was familiar with, what was the guy's name? Dello Vikino. It sounds like he's a Viking. Now, Puma King was a better wrestler than Aerostar. I'm being honest here. Aerostar is a great high-flying wrestler, but to be honest, he was sloppy. He was. And I felt that even though he's a good wrestler, he was sloppy in that match, and it was Puma King who did it better. Psycho Clown was really more pounding somebody than flying around. That's all he cared about. Now, when it came down to it, when Eli pretty much got kicked out because of what Eddie did, I just felt that now they're probably going to do the feud. And I was right, because Eli basically hits Eddie with Kenny, and that ends it. Which is good. One, we're finally getting this feud, and then we can move on to something else for Eli and Eddie, hopefully. Two, AAA finally got a win, because last year they did not. And I think the year before that they didn't get one either. So seeing AAA actually get over, even though, yes, it's part of a storyline that they only won, still, the wrestlers from AAA are good. Even though Aerostar did act very botchy. And two, we did progress a storyline, and I'm fine with it. Now, LAX segment with Konnan. Now, here's the problem with this. Because Konnan said that because of what happened, they went into that ring mad and they wanted to kick your ass. That's the reason you lost. That's the reason this happened. The problem was this. They didn't hype that up enough. I'm sorry. They didn't. They said, well, this is all friendly and stuff. Instead of seeing LAX, in other words, Santana or Ortiz, being told by Konnan more than a few times, I don't think this is going to end well still. Because Pentagon and Phoenix are angry. And they're saying, oh, please, nothing's going on. But then that happened. Because there was story continuity that wasn't exactly right for me personally. It just didn't feel like it. So him saying that there, I just felt like he should have been more involved, saying when it was there that they're supposed to bring the house down. But then when they did their promos, Konnan didn't address that and say, they're mad. We had a little bit of a problem here. I really do feel like this is going to happen. They're going to be doing this because of anger, not because they want competition. That's the way it should have been. So now he says he's going to give them one more shot at trying to do the title. He's going over to the Lucha Brothers. He's going to say, let's do this one more time. Win, lose, or draw, this ends. And I'm done with it. I don't want my family fighting anymore. And pretty much LAX said, fine, all right, we'll do this. But look, Konnan needs to choose between LAX and the Lucha Brothers. This is the only way this is going to work. For me personally, others, you guys are fine with it. I can understand that. But for me, they must let Konnan choose between the two. Even if he stays with LAX, he's got to choose. This should not come down to him just saying, we're going to have this match, it's going to end. And then they just have a fight between each other and he still doesn't choose, because then it just makes no sense. For me personally, he's got to choose between the two. He has to. Now, the second best match of the night. And that is they're both good. Let's be honest, they're both good. Oh, wait, I'm rushing this. Scum, I believe the name of them is Scum. They're back. They're coming back in 2 weeks. That's good. I'm okay with it. I don't remember the guys' names, but I do remember they're going, oi, oi, oi. I did like them. So seeing them come back, that's cool. And now we're going to see, and she's in my face. Baby. That's just delicious. She's just gorgeous. And you know who is in my face right now as I'm talking. And that is Scarlett Bordeaux, saying that when she goes to Las Vegas at the Sands Hotel, I believe it's the Sands Hotel, I can't remember which hotel it is, she will have her debut. I still believe she should not be debuting. She should be someone's manager. Then she switches over to actually wrestling somebody. Just getting herself over, I don't feel it's enough. She should have been someone's manager first. Then she switches over to being a wrestler. That's just me. But still, I'll be glad to see it. Here we go. Now, the second best match of the night will be the tornado match between Moose, Killer Kross, Johnny, and the Cage himself, the Terminator, Brian Cage. Was it a good match? It was a good match. It was a good match to a certain point because you still had 3 big guys and 1 medium-sized guy, and a Johnny. It just, if they had 2 medium-sized or small guys compared to 2 big guys, I think it would have been better. But you got Johnny, who was the smallest guy there. And you could see there was a little bit of a problem because you got 3 big guys who were being incredibly physical and kind of tanking a bit fast. Now, doesn't mean it was bad. It was a good match. For me personally, I like to see them change it up. A smaller guy doesn't get always tank fast, and the big guy with huge freaking muscles, which I wish I had myself. But it was a good match. But here's the thing. Was it the wisest thing to do, let Johnny retain? Honestly, no. For me personally, I don't think Johnny should have kept the title. I think he should have dropped it to Brian Cage. Or Killer Kross for that matter. But I do believe Brian Cage should have gained the title, or Killer Kross, just temporarily. Because then you got Brian Cage going after Killer Kross, and then Johnny getting mad that Brian Cage is going after Killer Kross before him, and Killer Kross, well, I'll put it to you like this. Having Brian Cage wipe out Johnny, and then going after Killer Kross, getting the title, and then Johnny coming back and going after Brian Cage then might have been more interesting than just Johnny winning it, and now Brian Cage is still pissed because he still feels like he's not getting an opportunity. I just felt like that would have been a better scenario. Finally, the best match of the night. And I don't know if anyone else is going to consider the best match of the night, but to me personally, it was the best match of the night. And for the beginning of the year, one of the best women's matches I've seen. And that is Taya versus Tessa in a street fight. One thing you notice about Taya Valkyrie is that with her clothes, she does the best she can to minimize her breast because she's a heavy-chested lady. Which makes me happy because I like breasts. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be disrespectful to any woman or man for that matter, but when Taya Valkyrie came out in just a top and her regular sports bra and not her really tight clothes that she wears to really hold it in place, you can see how busty she is. And since she's a very beautiful woman, and when that fight started going really intense, her top got torn off, and you see her sports bra under there, you can see how very voluptuous she is. She's a good-looking woman. And she's a very good performer. And now, here's the other side. Tessa Blanchard. You guys know I'm not a fan of Tessa, but I do appreciate that she's a good wrestler. Here in this match, she has won marks with me. Because if I have to compare Tessa Blanchard to the WWE's women, and you know I love Naomi, you know I love Sasha Banks, and I do care about Bayley. Yeah, I do care about Bayley and Becky. She did an amazing job in that match. Maybe some people will say, well, she wasn't that great. For me personally, she did an amazing job because it's the first time that she could show true intensity and rage. And I know a lot of people can say, no, we've seen it before. No, you haven't. Because you've seen her in matches where it has a restriction. some type of stipulation, or it was a regular match. But here she didn't have to do it. And she's a natural heel. She's like, pretty much like Charlotte. She's a natural born heel. She just has that attitude. But if I got to compare Charlotte's heelness compared to Tessa, there's no comparison. Tessa's better as a heel than Charlotte is. I'm sorry, she is. As a raw talent in performing, in promo segments, in attitude, Tessa's better. I'm saying to anyone right now, and I'm not a Tessa Blanchard fan. She has won marks with me. I'm still not a Tessa Blanchard fan. I'm not. But when it comes down to it, she's a far superior wrestler and performer than Charlotte. Flat out. No matter how many times Charlotte has won the damn title, she's not as good as Tessa Blanchard. Flat out, she just isn't. And I'll stand by that right now. She just is not comparable. And this match, you had a lot of violence. You had, I'll say it did have a little bit of a lull at one point, but it did pick up. The crowd was pretty good at it, even though it's a small crowd. I did love this match. And I'm sure a lot of people would say, well, Tessa should have won. I'm tired. Yeah, Tessa should have won. I'm getting a little confused. Tessa should have won the match. Honestly, no. Tessa winning the match is not going to help her. She needs competition. And there's only one person right now. And that's Taya. She needs to be working with Jordynne Grace. You got one power wrestler in a Jordynne Grace against a strong wrestler in a Tessa Blanchard. We need to have those two go up against each other. We need to have Jordynne Grace go away from dealing with, well, we did have that little moment with Allie, with Su Yung, and then you see the Rosemary in the back. We need to go away from that and let Kiera Hogan and Jordynne Grace start being in the title picture. We need these women in there because just having these two is not enough. Make Tessa go to the back of the line and go through Kiera Hogan again. And definitely go for Jordynne Grace after that. And then you can have her go after Taya again. We need this. This is just how I feel about it. In the end, this was a good show. I still don't like Team Impacts. I just don't. But this was a good show with only one weak match, only due to the fact that one that was in it, and that was Willie Mack, really didn't have much to do in the storyline between Sami Callihan and Rich Swann. That's the only reason it was weak. So if you already seen it, it was good, wasn't it? If you haven't seen it, go watch it. But it's just my point of view. You guys tell me below. Have a good day. Have a good night. And I'm going to do everything I can to do a Major League Wrestling review tomorrow. I'm getting it kind of confused because I got so many things I'm trying to do at once. Major League Wrestling. And I will be doing my Elimination Chamber. I am going to do everything I can not to forget anything because it will anger me even more. And that will give me anxiety and depression. I don't want that. That's what I've been suffering for the last week along with doing all the stuff I've been doing. Ugh. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.